you doing, bud?
What's going on?
Well, you're supposed to know, not me. This is going to be the slip-on for the Pan America by Harley-Davidson. A badass machine.
21 plus.
Bam, there it is. Well, that was real hard work for me. It's time for me to let you do you.
Yeah, now it's up to me. All right, here we are today. We're unveiling our 21 plus Pan America slip-on. You're gonna see instructions that will be included in here. Your stainless heat shield with the stainless bolts and the capturing backing plate. Stainless clamps, your bolt, which will also be reused later. We'll get to that. And then last, but not least, the beautiful pipe here from Sawicki Speed, the beautiful welds, 4-inch body muffler here, 17-inch over length. This is an aggressive sounding pipe. We'll be reusing the LE clamp later and we'll explain that. Most of you want to know, what does it sound like stock versus our pipe? I'm gonna let you know. Would you rather hear your motor or your exhaust? Keep in mind, guys, remember last time that one beer install? I'd say this is probably 1.5-er, something like that. Very simple tools today. I'm using a 3/8 ratchet, obviously impact ratchet. You can use a mechanical. I've got a 13mm wrench, T25 Torx, and a T40 Torx, and a 15 socket. That's it. That's how simple this goes. One of those is always key to have on hand. We're gonna first start uninstalling the factory clamp here. We're gonna remove your T45 2 bolts here that capture the foot peg bracket to the swing arm. Long bolt stays in the top. Short one is in the bottom. If you notice, the stand pulled down a little bit there. This bracket comes off of there. First, we have to remove the T25 securing nut that pulls this pin out of here. All right. T25 little securing bolt out of here. This is what captures this pin in here. I just take that same bolt and stick it in there. And you should be able to just pull this pin out of here. You might need a set of pliers to pull this pin out of here. It came out pretty easy, so. Take the bolt, locking bolt here that captures that pin. Take it out, simply thread it into the end there, and just pull it out. You'll understand later. This one will release your peg from here, right? Then you're gonna take this and you're gonna flip this up here. Don't tell your girlfriend or your wife you're gonna use her peg for a minute. Right, so now we've got this, it would actually move down a little bit. So now we're ready to go. We've already got our clamp unloose. Now we're gonna get to our T45 bolt that captures the catalyst converter to the bike. T45 bolt, this is what secures the catalyst to the motorcycle. We need to remove this bolt. This one will not get reused on the reinstall, by the way, so if you want to keep your stock exhaust system, your bolt, just hang on to that. Now we're going to go up here to the rear T45 bolt that secures the muffler body to the rear passenger peg. This bolt here, you will reuse this. So we will keep this one. T45 bolt removal from the OE muffler that hangs the muffler to the rear foot peg. We're gonna reuse this bolt, by the way. Then you put this Sawicki system on. Keep that. Simply just walk the muffler off of the head pipe. Should be pretty simple. Just like that. Now you can see why we had to remove our foot peg bracket, and then also you'll have to lower the kickstand here to be able to remove this out of here and get clearance. Tips of the trick of the old people here, buddy. The way I do this is I leave everything threaded in here, pull them out where you can get to it. Just take a little bit of drop of this, dab it on there, dab it. That way you have to fumble around with this. Take your 3mm Allen. Go ahead and run this down. Remember guys, this is 3mm. This is not like heavy torque here, so you gotta be wise. Just a little snug, right? And we're good to go. Now we can take the worm clamps and we're gonna slide these back behind the captured clamp here. As we see here, I went ahead and run the stainless clamps around the backing plate here. Also, go ahead and run those in there before you get started. You can still, and you want the curved part of this to go to the top of your muffler. Slide that on there, that way you don't have to fumble around. Rotate this around so you get it on. Boom, back on, right? So now we can go ahead and reuse our OE clamp that we were talking about earlier off of your factory muffler. We're gonna put that on there after we beat it. Just like that. Pretty simple part here. Slide it onto your OE part. See how easy that goes on? That's how good we are here. We're going to reuse our T45 bolt to capture the muffler up on the muffler bracket, and then we're going to give you the supplied serrated nut to capture these two together. T45. Remember, reuse the OE rubber isolator on the bracket to remove that. We're going to leave this hand tight for now. All right, everything is all loose. Now we're going to go down here to tighten up your heat shield and put it in the proper location after we relocate your foot pegs back in this place. All right, we're going to go back to installing our foot peg bracket onto our bike and also capturing it onto the center stand. Remember, we use the pin. This is a bolt that just fell out. Got that? This has got a slot in the center. Goes back over your stand. Let's go ahead and put that pin back in here. Don't leave that out, okay? We'll need that T25. That locks that pin in there. You leave that out and your stand comes loose. Your buddy's not gonna be happy when he's got his kickstand on his head. I'm using the impact. I know how to use it. I've been around for a while. It's tight. Now we're gonna go back to installing our T45 bolts onto the foot peg bracket. Remember, long one goes in the top, guys, okay? Short one goes in the bottom. Again, you can only use the impact if you know what you're doing. I've been around. All right, we're getting close to almost drinking that 1.5 beer. You remember I told you this is 1.5 beer install here, guys. So now we're going on to locating our clamps for our heat shield. This is all preference to whoever, how big a boot you got or smaller foot you got. We're gonna tighten these clamps down. Go ahead and spin it around so you can get to it easy. Get it to a spot where, you know, the clamp starts getting tight. Don't make this hard on yourself. And you could use a nut driver on this as well as a screwdriver. Nut driver is going to be a little easier if you have one. And also some glasses if you can't see, kind of like me. All right, we're getting there. It's almost that time to go ride. Don't over tighten it, but do snug it up. and I would check that after you ride the bike, after the heat cycles. Now we're gonna go back. Last but not least, we're gonna tighten up our 15mm OE exhaust clamp that we reused off of the factory unit. Go ahead and snug that down pretty tight. And then we're gonna go up here to the very back, and we're gonna tighten down our T45. And this is where our only 13mm wrench comes into play. That's what we're gonna tighten up, hold the back of the locking serrated nut on the back. Since this is a stainless system, we want to wipe everything down. Denatured alcohol or some water. Clean that off. You want to make sure you get all the oil off of the stainless, because once it heat cycles, whatever grease and oil is on the pipe will stain it. Alright, here we are, everything installed, wiped down. Make sure you double check all your bolts again, your heat shield, everything's ready to go. Let's move on to here in this bad boy. This here.